you want to speak English more naturally? My name is James. To start off with, I'm going to give you 20 words to change in your vocabulary so that when you say them, you don't seem stuck up. Words that are going to make your English sound more natural. Welcome and welcome back. My name is James and I'm an English teacher here in Brazil. So, many of my students ask me questions or use words that really seem awkward, and I don't understand why they're being so formal, but really it's just a translation of Portuguese. Dificuldade is difficult. Consumir is to consume. So these words that you use all the time on a regular basis, maybe informal in Portuguese, are really formal in English. So, without further ado, let's get into them, okay? So number one is difficult. It's difficult for me to speak English, or I have difficulty with phrasal verbs, where in reality or on an everyday basis, we're really gonna just use hard. Hard, maybe tough, okay? It's tough for me to understand phrasal verbs, or it's hard for me to speak English, or it's hard for me to pronounce things in English. Number two, to start or to end, not to commence or terminate. So the movie starts at 7 o'clock, the movie ends at 9 o'clock, it doesn't commence at 7 o'clock, it doesn't terminate at 9 o'clock. And so you really want to avoid using the formal words. However is a formal word. But is an informal word. But if you're at a conference, or however, if you're at a conference, you could use the more formal setting. But on a day-to-day basis, when you go into the theme park, if you go to Disney, if you go to a hotel, if you're at the airport, if you're talking to your friends, if you're talking to anyone on the street, you're going to use the regular day-to-day language. Number three, it's actually right and wrong, not correct and incorrect. So I had an incorrect answer on my test, or I had a wrong answer on my test, or you're correct, or you're right. You're right and I had a wrong answer sounds much more natural and relaxed, as opposed to being very formal and tense. Number four, go up or go down. We could say the gas prices have increased lately, or the gas prices have gone up lately. And I'm using present perfect there. By the way, if you have any questions regarding the present and the present perfect, I have a video I'll put at the end of this one so that you can study that present perfect more. We do use it a lot in English. Gas prices went up last week, the past tense. Gas prices went down last week, the past tense of to go up or to go down. Not that gas prices decreased. However, but if I'm reading an article, then I might use, or they might use in the article, increase or decrease. But if I'm speaking to you, I would just say, wow, did you see the gas prices went up or gas prices went down. It's much more useful, much more natural. All right, number 5, the next one, allow. We could say, to be formal, permit. My parents won't permit me to go to the movies. Or, my parents won't allow me to go to the movies. This sounds much more natural. To call off something is to cancel it. But we don't say that. We might read that in an announcement, but we're not going to say that to our friend. The past tense is called off. We called off the wedding. Maybe it was because of a hurricane coming, or maybe it was because the spouse got cold feet. Cold feet is when you get scared and then do not want to get married. It's called cold feet. So, that's to be called off. We called off our trip. So my wife is driving very slowly and I say, come on, speed up. I wouldn't say, come on, accelerate. It would seem too formal because I'm just talking to my wife. There's no reason to have this formal setting. Again, generally if it's not medically related or law related, governmental related, you're just, talking to an everyday person, even in situations that you might think it would be okay to be more formal, generally it's not. So you would just say, come on, speed up. Even if I want you to go faster, I'm going to say, come on, could you speed it up? Could you go faster? I want you to accelerate. Here's an interesting one. This is very formal, amiable. So if a person is amiable, they are friendly. And we are always going to use the word friendly. Almost always. Of course, there are these formal situations. If I'm in a tuxedo, I might say, oh, I know John, and he's an amiable chap, or an amiable gentleman. So I'm just saying that he's friendly. We're going to use friendly 99% of the time. The next one, challenge. You see this one all the time in quotes. If you want a challenge, never give up, or things like that. So to challenge, we usually could say to a person that we dare the person. We have challenges in situations, but when we're talking about or to the person, we would say, I dare you. It is a dare to the person, which is also a challenge, but we don't use the word challenge in those situations. If I have a hard or difficult situation at work, I may say it's challenging. That might be what I would say, and not necessarily a dare. I don't have a dare at work. I have a challenge at work. But I dare you to find an exception. I dare you to give me an example. I'm challenging you, and we're not going to use that word unless it's really a formal situation. I want you to consider subscribing to my channel. Consider. To think about is much easier to say. I want you to think about subscribing to my channel. This is a way to sound natural, because to use the word consider is, in American English, just too formal. Hey honey, would you inquire about the prices? Would you ask about the prices? I wouldn't use inquire because it's too formal. We really want to stay neutral. People consider it to be informal but neutral. Ask about the prices, honey. The next one, request. Request is to ask for something. You're asking for something. Normally we use the word could. So, could I ask for another towel? That's very nice. If you say, could I request another towel, you're being too formal. It's extremely formal. You're already being polite by using the could, because you're requesting. So could I ask for something? Or could you ask them for another towel? So you're requesting this. You don't need to use the word request. Could you request another towel from them? It's not necessary. The next one, book. The book is on the table. So the book is a noun, but we're using it as a verb. To book a reservation. So we could say to reserve a reservation, but reservation as a noun we like to use, but as a verb it's not used as much. So you would reserve something very formal. Usually it will have a RSVP. So that would be to reserve, s'il vous plaît, French. But normally we're going to use the word book. So you book a reservation at the airlines, you book a flight, you book a hotel, you book a restaurant. Okay, so these are situations that you're going to use the word to book. And I invite you to write in the comments and practice something that you could use the word to book. Okay, so I got the check and I needed to verify the information. Verify is very formal. Normally I would use the word check. So I got the check and I checked the information. Now that sounds funny because check is also that word. So in this case, I might use the word verify just so that anyone who is listening doesn't get confused. So I'm going to use, I need to check my schedule. Not I need to verify my schedule. And this sounds much more natural. Receive. Today I received news that coronavirus is spreading. So receive, maybe if I were on the news, it would be okay to be this formal. But in general, you don't want to use the word receive. I got. It is the past of to get. So we get information. We receive information. I got information today that my dad is in the hospital. As an example. So this is something that you can use all the time. To get, or in the past, got something. To receive. I got this hat from my wife. I received this hat from my wife. Received is just too formal. It makes it seem that I'm stuck up, a snob, if you will. Okay, I know you know that word, snob. 30 years ago, I used to be a server. And I used to have an assistant server, which we would just call a busboy. But the word assistant makes it seem much more important. And they helped me. So to help is to assist, but to assist is too formal. So I couldn't walk down the street and say, hey, excuse me, could you assist me to find the bank? It sounds too formal. So, could you help me find the bank? Much more relaxed, much more neutral. I can't deal with all this stress. Sounds much more relaxed, even though it's stressful, than I can't handle something. If I go to a hotel, they may use the word handle. I make a complaint. Sir, the sink is dripping and it won't turn off. So they say, oh, I'm so sorry, sir. We'll handle that. They're going to use the word handle because they're working in the hotel and they're trying to be formal or professional. Okay? I am not going to use the word handle. I'm going to say, excuse me, there's a leak in my room. Do you have someone that can deal with that for me? To deal with that, deal with. We're going to use this much more, and it's going to sound much more relaxing and not so pushy, not so forceful. Excuse me, could you inform me where the bank is? Could you inform me? Can you please inform me when my secretary comes in? Please inform me. It sounds very formal, okay? But if I say, excuse me, could you please tell me, tell me when my secretary comes in? It sounds more relaxed. I'm going to get, let's say, a better feedback or a better reception from the person. They're going to feel warmer and more willing to help me instead of more willing to assist me. If I say, I'm requesting for you to inform me when my secretary comes back. It's all too formal. I'm asking you to tell me when my secretary comes back. It's much more relaxed. And I'm going to get a better reception. They're going to be more willing to help me. Okay, the next one, consume. So we know in the world about consumption. Americans are big consumers. We consume a lot. We let's say eat a lot. That's a part of consumption. But in general, we would use the word use. So to consume is to use. If we consume oil, we are using oil. Okay, my car does not consume gas. I could say that, but it's very formal. It's easier just to say, oh, that's a nice car. How much gas does it use? You know, or if I want to seem more professional, I might use the word consume. But again, it is formal. Hey guys, if you like this video so far, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button and the bell to make sure you receive new videos. I'm trying to always improve it. Your comments below help me do that. Also below in the description is Telegram. I have a new Telegram group that I will send out mini lessons if you want to learn to English on your own. If you want to self-study, this will be a great tool for you. Okay, and it's absolutely free. I'm not charging anything. I only ask that you subscribe, maybe share, and get the word out for people who really want to learn English. The last one, last but not least, okay, is I'm sorry. Now, this we could say a lot, and it's accepted. If you want to either emphasize or be more formal in your apologizing, you would use the word apologize. I apologize. I apologize for something. I'm sorry for being late. I apologize for being late. So I'm a teacher and I'm late. I'm going to say, oh, I really apologize for being late. And it sounds really sincere. Where if I say, I'm sorry I'm late, it may seem like I don't care. So this one, even though I'm sorry is informal and used to make you seem more relaxed, this may not be what you want depending on the situation you have. So if you really messed up, then you really want to try and use I apologize. If it's not that bad, it's something small, maybe you just say I'm sorry. Okay, that's all I have. I'm gonna put again the suggestion video for you. The bottom one, this one is gonna be the video that YouTube thinks that you would like best because you watched this one. So they have a feel about what you would like to watch. YouTube is very connected to the videos you're watching to try to give you more of what you like. Okay? And I hope you liked this video and you learned something today.